Hey everybody. I am waiting for the host actually to come on. Um, I tagged her in it, so I'm waiting. There's been some technical issues this morning with the way they do this. So I can't start until the host comes on. So how y'all doing today? I went and beat my face. I look much better now than I did when I was in my nightgown. Um, I don't understand why every single time I get on Facebook Live, somebody calls or then people start messaging from other applications. Oh, God. So if you hear beeping in the background, it's not my fault. It's coming from WhatsApp. And unfortunately, I can't turn it off. Um, so just waiting for Shauna to come on. Sorry, you guys, for the wait. Bringing her on now. Shauna, I just sent you your invite to join me. Shauna, I sent you your invite, and they're adding her right now, and then I don't know what's going on. I thought Mercury in retrograde was over, but we've been having some problems. Hi, Shauna.
Hey, I'm Shayna.
Hi, Shauna. Hey, I'm sorry I've never
it's
pronounced your name before.
it's all good because Shayna is, I totally get it. How are you?
So you guys, when we finish with this, and I apologize if there's beeping in the background. I don't want to leave the Facebook Live to turn off whatever's going on in this application. But Murphy's Law for me, understand that during any interview and any Facebook Live, somebody will call or
Okay.
start messaging. I mean, people be
Okay.
watching my Facebook Live, they'll message. So we might encounter some teasing. I don't know. So how are you
Okay.
today? You want to go ahead and
I'm
because
good.
this is your
You look super fabulous. So, I'm doing this interview
you.
for Sacred Waters, because you're one of our speakers. We're super duper duper excited to have you. We met you at Daughters of the Moon convention, and we are having our Sacred Waters convention, which is a combination of an herbal conference as well as a ritual conference. So, what it entails is not only are you learning herbs to heal yourself, to conjure, to do these other things, but you're actually going to use them in ritual as well in a safe space with other Black women. So, it's in Dover, Tennessee, which is about an hour from Nashville. And we have ride shares from the airport, or we also have ride shares from your area. So if you click on ride share on our website, then you'll know a lady who's coming from your area, and then y'all can just totally ride together. Y'all can connect and come down south or come up north or come east, whichever way y'all coming, y'all can come and visit us. And it is a 3-day retreat. It's $480, all inclusive. That includes your class. That includes meeting Liz in person. That does not include her divinations. That does not include her products. All those things will be sold from her separately from the retreat. So I just didn't want anyone to think that once they got there, they could hit you up, you know what I mean, for a free divination, but you will be there to teach. So we have a few questions for you, for our audience, for those who don't know you, and those who do follow you maybe don't know where you started or where you came from. So how did you become who you are, as far as your childhood and upbringing?
Okay. Well, interestingly enough, a lot of people they start practicing conjure and they want to get on the internet and talk about how, they learned from granny. And usually they're lying, especially if they're not people of color. When I first came out, people were like, "Oh, she's a fraud," because there's a whole bunch of frauds. When I grew up, when we did conjure things, it was being black. It was what old black folks did, from Florida water to the way my grandmother grew her plants to our light, our altar for the dead. And my grandmother, when I was 6, stood at the window with me and pointed out and said I was 6 years old when I saw my first witch. And she didn't say anything else.
And then she just
But
walks
I
away,
eventually
like, oh, never mind.
like that. We had a house full of ancestors, and they were tricksters. They loved hiding things, turning on TVs that weren't plugged into electricity, doing weird things like that. I followed after that. I'm sorry, I'm trying to get rid of these notifications. After that, I got my master's degree in literature at Northern Illinois University, and my concentration was Black women writers. So that really piqued my interest. Reading things like Mama Day and Tell My Horse and Mules and Men piqued my interest in voodoo and in hoodoo, but I didn't really pursue it until spirits started showing up in my house doing stuff that I remembered from childhood.
Mm-hmm.
So the owners of the voodoo store in Chicago, Illinois, that's where I grew. Well, that's where I grew up from the time of 11. I lived in Ohio, where I am right now. Well, a few hours away until then. And they were my friends as well as my photography mentors because I was a professional photographer. And this pretty much took over the professional photography. I ended up closing my studio because I became a worker. But I was just like, I
Wow.
got, and I tagged them on Facebook, and I'm like, I'm gonna need y'all to come and do something, get these haints about my house. And then sitting down with
Yeah.
them and talking to them, they were like, you don't know who these spirits are? And they started explaining to me. And one of the spirits is Gade, and it was the Baron, one of the Barons, and he would visit family members before somebody died. But because he wore a top hat, my family called him Abe Lincoln. Just another systematic
Girl.
thing where we touch with who we are.
Yeah.
And I really never intended to be a reader,
Uh-huh.
go into business, none of that. I was hanging out with my friends, learning root work, and
Yeah.
you know, a few groups, and for some reason, people really started to like me. We went to PantheaCon in 2014. I was up in my room because we partied, because weed is legal in California, and I was still tweaking in the morning. And my mentors were calling me like, there are all these people down here asking for you. And I'm like, what? And when I left my mentors, we had some philosophical differences.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't going to keep doing this.
Okay.
I labeled my Elizabeth Ruth profile. It's named after my grandmother.
Yeah.
Um, and Mama Star called me.
Uh-huh.
Everybody thinks Mama Star is white. Mama Star is got relatives in Gula Geechee Nation.
Uh-huh. Can
And
never
she
judge
told
a
me
book by its cover.
exactly. I'm
Mm-hmm.
76% African.
Mm-hmm. Girl.
So, and it was funny because my mentors bought me my Ancestry.com kit, and they were like, you know, you white. And I'm just like, shut up. I was paranoid the whole time I was waiting for this.
Right.
But, I wasn't going to keep doing this. It was never my idea to become a priestess. I remember when I met my mambo, and I said, I want to be a hootsie in your house. And she was like,
Mm-hmm.
hootsie?
Yeah.
And she was like, no, 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 boo. She told me, you've always been a mambo. Somebody just has to teach you how to be one.
Okay, so let
So,
me say this. A lot of our watchers are new. So I know what the hootsie, I know what a mambo is. Can you just tell them quickly what that means?
yes, well, there's levels to this stuff. And
Yes.
in voodoo, you
Uh-huh.
can get your head washed, which is a baptism. It's a lavatet. It does not make you an initiate, but
Mm-hmm.
you become part of a spiritual family. And
Mm-hmm.
then there's Hunsi Kanzo, where you do travel to Haiti and you initiate. But there are certain things Hunsi Kanzos do not learn
Mm-hmm.
because they're not priests or priestesses, but they are very valuable to our services.
Mm-hmm.
And they help the Ngans and the Mambos doing different rituals and things like that. So you learn.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's Mambo Supuin, which is what I am. And
Mm-hmm.
that is a Mambo. They say it's a Mambo in training, but it is a Mambo
Mm-hmm.
position.
Mm-hmm.
And it is where the only thing you don't get is there are certain spirits and things only Asagwe Mambos work with
Mm-hmm.
and Johns, and you don't get the son, you don't have godchildren. But a lot of people don't understand. A lot of people are walking around here with
Mm-hmm.
Asagwe, but the whole idea behind that is that you have a house in Haiti
Mm-hmm.
where you initiate people.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't have Haiti, being
Mm-hmm.
Asagwe, you're
Mm-hmm.
not really kind of fulfilling your obligations.
Mm-hmm.
So, this is what spirits judge right for me. I had no expectation going into it, but I'm very happy. I'm in an excellent spiritual house with an excellent spiritual mother, and we are about the business of helping Black people, period, and the Black people in Haiti.
So the name of your class is the Voodoo in You. Why? What is voodoo, and why is it important to our culture as African Americans?
Without going into too much detail, because then I'll be teaching my class, voodoo is the religion, or we don't even call it a religion, it's a lifestyle. It's your life. It's everything, is of revolution. There's never been a successful slave revolt anywhere, ever, except in Haiti. And they were made to pay tremendously for that, to the tune of like 21 billion to France. And they really need to get that money back, because what they did was to discourage any more slave revolts. They punished them by making them pay the slavers reparations. Go figure. You have to understand that it wasn't a matter of having newspapers, even drums. They took our drums because they knew we communicated with them. Every single person that participated in that revolution was possessed by Law, which is our spirits. Law means the law, the mysteries. And every single one of those people was possessed. They all struck at once. That type of coordinated attack usually is thwarted by somebody being tortured and tricking, or just tricking,
Yeah.
So that it was amazing. We haven't seen things before or since, and it is my contention that one of the reasons why we have not seen, to me, in my opinion, real progress, because what we got in the civil rights movement should have been the tip of the iceberg, because we're not tapping into our ancestral spirits.
Right.
And that's the power. People think that they can just do magic with roots and herbs, and that's fine.
Right.
Because roots just have magic. But your magic will be that much more powerful when there's spirit involved. Magic has always been about spirit and necromancy and, psychic abilities. And people really try to wash that away due to the lack of commitment, maybe, to wanting to be in a particular practice. I find most often that people want to attach themselves to certain spirits in an ATR, an African traditional religion, without following the rules of said religion.
Right. Why do you think that is? Do you think that has something to do with American so-called freedom, or what do you think the thought process is behind that? Because the
thought process, we've been brainwashed.
Okay.
I gave a speech at the Daughters of the Moon convention. I was a Christian worker when I started.
Right.
Until I studied the Bible all my life. I can still out-Bible some of these folks that want to tell me that I'm going to hell.
Yeah.
And show them that.
Right.
People don't understand that the Bible was, first of all, the Old Testament's the Torah, part of the Torah.
Yeah.
And then the New Testament, written 300 years after Christ was born, with the exception of Luke, which is the best written book in the New Testament, and that was written 30 years after Christ was born. And I promise you, if you come and sit in my root room and we play a game of telephone, by the time that message gets from the first person to the last, that story will have changed tremendously. So people really are placing their faith in this book that was written by men, men, not women, men, where even some of the most helpful and the most empowering books have been removed. So, Gospel of Thomas, it ain't in there. The Book of Enoch, it ain't in there. The entire Apocrypha is not in there, because Protestants consider Catholics to be pagan, because they were the first the first Christian church, and they took a lot of our practices. So a lot of it's brainwashing. A lot of it is also rebellion. People see religion only through the lens of Abrahamic faiths.
Right.
And those faiths are only faiths that tell you that you're going to go to hell if you don't do right. If you look at all of these other religions, your afterlife might not be that great if you're an evil person. But this whole fire, brimstone, gotta have Jesus to to be able to get to the Father is that really does a number on people.
Mm-hmm.
It took me a long time to say, okay, I'm not going to go to hell,
Yeah. Yeah.
and to do that. And so I'm working on a longer version of, somebody mentioned crystals. We'll talk about that in a minute.
Yeah.
I'm working on a longer version of the talk that I gave at Daughters of the Moon,
Mm-hmm.
because you should remove Christian guilt from your magical practice. And nobody's saying you have to give up being a Christian, but
Right. And I
not,
think that's a huge step. Yeah. You don't
right.
have
Yeah,
to leave your spiritual path. It's your spiritual path and you have a right to it. That's not what any of us at any of our conventions will ever tell you. We're never ever even going to tell you that Christianity is evil or bad. Why? Because we were
yes.
abused by that system. So we're not going to put that same abuse back on you. I love that you are really, yes, please take
Right.
that on the road every damn year.
Well, you have, there's a certain thing is where you have to let people know, hey, it wasn't Jesus or Yahweh or that pantheon of spirits that was bad. It was the people who pushed that on people by force.
Mm-hmm.
Now people
Right.
know all over the world, say the word voodoo to somebody, and they just,
Girl.
because they know it's powerful, but they don't know it.
Yes.
Right. They don't
Right.
know it. They've seen on television.
Right.
So, and I'm not really wanting to be this change hearts and minds ambassador, because either you get down or you
See,
don't.
I was gonna ask you
Because there
about
are
that.
things,
I was gonna ask you about that.
because there are things that are about voodoo that are absolutely true. But we don't
Mm-hmm.
sacrifice babies. You got to think about that. Abrahamic religions,
Yeah.
Catholics or Christians, they're the ones drinking the body and the blood.
Yeah.
People don't
Yeah.
understand. There are no supermarkets most of the places in Haiti. That's how decimated they made this country. But on the other hand,
Mm-hmm.
it's probably a good thing, because these people are
Mm-hmm.
raising their food. So when
Mm-hmm.
they don't go to the grocery store. They go kill something.
Mm-hmm.
Don't you pray
Yeah.
over your food? So you always share things with your spirits. I share my breakfast every morning with my ancestors,
Yep.
unless it's something they don't like.
Yep.
I had fried
So
rice
do
this
I.
morning because I was busy. They were like, hit me at
Yeah.
dinner.
Not so much, girl. And they do the same thing to me. Like, I don't want none. Please, because I'm
Right.
like that with almost every meal. And so sometimes it's like, no, I'm gonna pass on that pizza this time. I'm good. I don't need no cheese pizza. You straight. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, okay, I'm sorry.
Sometimes they make me else, and other times I'm like, here, because when I was young and you put some food in front of me, I had to eat it. Love y'all,
Mm-hmm.
eat. I have a sign in my kitchen, or
Right.
starve. That's my
Right.
rule. So I love my ancestors. A lot of people don't understand serving and being respectful and having relationships with ancestors. So
Right.
that's one thing I just like talk to people about. It's not
Yep.
going to be no handouts. It's going to be no slideshow.
Mm-hmm.
It's about what voodoo means to us as Black people,
Mm-hmm.
and especially Haitian voodoo,
Mm-hmm.
and how this is our religion of revolution.
Mm-hmm.
Voodoo was the beginning. West African voodoo was the beginning. Yes, there's Ifa. In fact, they say that the beginnings of voodoo are in Ila Ifa in Africa.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but it's still voodoo.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got a lot of different diasporic, variants. But the more you learn about these religions or practices or life commitments,
Mm-hmm.
you'll learn how very similar they are.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So that's another thing, and so definitely seen ties to hoodoo and voodoo, because the doctrine of signatures of herbs and roots doesn't change.
Right.
Now,
Right.
enough,
Right. So that's the reason why Sacred Waters was put together, because all of it is connected. So you can go and say, I love tea, or I love herbs, or I love this and this. And you have to understand how all of those things are brought together. Yes, we have this new surgence of women who are super interested in their natural path, in their path to the goddess, etc., etc. And so there are ways to go about this. But one of the ways is not to just claim you're one thing or the other, right? The best thing to do is
Right.
to really come and learn from the elders. Come and learn in a really, really safe space that you can be
Yes.
comforted and possibly authentically connect with a woman that can be your mentor, a woman who you can email, that you can call. You have to have these things. I have these things as a priestess of voodoo. You have that as a priestess of voodoo. We have that, and we don't come. Oh, I'm
You're
Mommy
my
Wata. I'm Mommy Wata.
girl. You
Yes,
that.
yeah. I'm in, yeah. So I'm in Togo, Benin.
You did when you was in my class.
I was
Weren't you
what?
in my class?
Yeah.
I'm trying to paper here, y'all, but my arm is tired because I'm really looking like Casper the Friendly Ghost, but I
Girl, put
can't.
that
I
light
gotta
on you and live your life. Girl,
live my
live
roots.
your
So
life.
I like to, now that's one thing. I like to give correct representations of myself. I don't be trying to fake the funk. I'm not
Oh
the
yeah, and be
light.
like, this is my lightning, this is my lightning, this is my lightning. What is my lightning? Yeah. What do
Right,
I
right,
really
right.
look like?
So, that's fighting, and I should have put up like I have all of sadly enough most of my photography equipment boxed up, but I want to start putting a reflector up here so
Just so
that
you
it
can
bounces a lot
be real.
outside
Yes.
because it's like uh, I am a little hot in here. This started kicking my tail.
This is why we love Liz, because she's like, look, y'all, I love that we talk about all that. Great. But guess what the fuck? Like my favorite thing
Right,
about you.
I got yeah, I will never stay on top. My mentors, they had a little saying for me. I would be talking about something, and then I would jump into something else, and they'd be like squirrel, because like you see a
Squirrel.
squirrel
Yeah,
or a
squirrel.
dog sees a squirrel,
Squirrel.
they're
Squirrel.
like,
Yeah. Yeah. So I have a
that's
couple of questions for you.
stay on top.
Number one, why did you decide? Did you decide, or did the spirits decide for you? And let me say this to anybody who's listening: when you say spirit and you say the word voodoo, it is the same thing. Spirit is voodoo in another language, so no one needs to be afraid that two voodoo priestesses are sitting here. All we're saying is that we are women of spirit, and the voodoo
Well, you
encompass
know what?
so many spirits that it's hard for you to call out one or the other or whatever. So I happen to
Well, you know,
be in the. Go ahead.
but that's the thing. I just wanted to agree with you. I didn't want to interrupt you, but
Go ahead.
people are scared. They have
Yeah.
to understand that there are religions of oppression.
Right.
Any religion tells you that you are not a divine being, that you are not a god yourself.
Right.
They strip that divinity. Why?
Right.
Because it's powerful. It is
It's very
life
powerful.
changing.
Yeah.
To initiate, you don't fear anything anymore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So,
You know that
you
you
know,
created all, and you're like, if I'm afraid of something, it's because I need to kick my own ass. You know what I
or
mean?
I
It's
need to
some
do
self talk.
something.
Yeah, it's some self
Yeah.
talk, and it ain't no therapist gonna help you with it though, boo. You gonna have to go talk to the spirits about it, because it ain't no therapist gonna understand what the fuck you talking about. So anyway, okay, so
Girl,
so
people who
why
think
did you,
you walk up to people on the street talking about you hear voices.
girl? You might as well get your bag and your little push cart from Target and go and start walking these streets as soon as you say some shit like that.
Exactly.
So,
Exactly. Because they're going to look at you crazy.
what made you decide to help people in such a way that you have? So, why did you become a teacher? Why did you decide to pursue a store? How did all that come to be? Because it is clearly your full-time job and passion, and you've had a long road with just studying it for yourself. Why open yourself up this way and come to
Well,
a
no.
conference and teach it? Okay.
I know. I'm just being smart behind. Look, two things.
Okay.
Okay. You choose voodoo, voodoo chooses you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And secondly, like I said, I'm gonna get back to that Mama Star story because I was
Okay.
not gonna be involved. What I found out is, especially in the world of white practitioners,
Mm-hmm.
and I found black practitioners like this, but especially in the world of white practitioners, they keep up more mess. There's no way that you could be doing the work of the spirits of the creator,
Mm-hmm.
and you are on all these Facebook groups trying to tell somebody what to do, giving them misinformation and or arguing with everybody in sight.
Okay.
And that had been my experience. I've been introduced to white spirituality, and them folks don't know how to act.
Yeah.
Point
Okay.
blank, period.
Okay.
So when I left the store, I took down my Elizabeth Ruth profile,
Mm-hmm.
and Mama Star called And she's like, excuse me, knock knock, what's going on here? And
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not doing this anymore. She just thought
Okay.
about me that day. She just
Okay.
thought about me and went looking
Mhm.
for me. And I was like, I'm not doing this anymore.
Mhm.
And she was like, you don't have a choice. This is
Wow.
your purpose. And
Mhm.
every Black practitioner is looking to you and at you because there is nobody else like you.
Mhm.
Where
Mhm.
I was, I don't know what happened. There are a lot of people with a lot more Facebook followers and Instagram followers than I have,
Mhm. Mhm.
but maybe I don't know. I just know it's. I tell people,
Mhm.
initiation is thousands of dollars, and we won't even get into the spiritual transformation that you have to make, the work that you
Mhm.
have to do.
Mhm.
Initiation is not. The one thing I had an idea of was I was gonna be in the Jevo, Nam Moho Renge KO, just
Yep.
being funny, but Zen and stuff is a little bit more rigorous than I imagined.
A little
And
bit,
I'm
boo.
almost, and I
Woo.
kept telling everybody, I'm old for this. I'm the oldest person in Jevo. I loved
Mhm.
it because I recruited my friends and they came with me, and
Mhm.
it was an amazing experience. But
Mhm.
people are jumping up now. They always have, and understand this just ain't spirituality. They did this with photography. If y'all
Yeah.
want to see something funny, go to the Facebook page. I am not a photographer. These DSLRs became cheap and everybody was doing photo sessions. And
Okay.
my sitting fee was $150.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nobody wanted to buy it,
Yeah.
even though it was worth it.
Yeah.
So that's the same thing that happened in root work. I was like, Dad, why is it that everybody's what I want to do when I want to do it?
Mhm.
Um, so therefore, a lot of people who are very skilled and excellent may or may not be getting the right exposure. But then, from what I've seen, from the most part, you got a lot of folks out here. I've taken them aside privately. I'm like, you asking me questions. That means you don't know what you're doing. That means
Mhm.
you shouldn't be leading a group. And of
Mhm.
course, I get blocked, and I don't
Yeah.
care.
Yeah.
I see, especially a culture vulture,
Mhm.
really appropriating a culture and doing it wrong. Oh yeah, I'm gonna drag you. I'm
Mhm.
gonna drag you
Okay.
because this is important for me not to sit around, not to say anything. We are voodoo. We are
Yeah.
responsible. We are responsible.
Mhm.
All of our brothers and sisters of the diaspora, especially the ones that put the P in power,
Yeah.
and that's in Haiti.
Yeah.
So as far as African Americans are concerned, Black people,
Mhm.
um, I did not want to do this. I started, and
Mhm.
it's starting to freeze. Sorry about that. I don't know what's going on. I didn't want to do this. I
It's okay.
wanted to just learn root work. I wanted to just sit at my house and read books and learn how to make formulations. And my
That's
daughter
yeah.
did a working before I ever did.
Yeah.
And so, but it happened. And then when you realize
Mhm.
that you're being called by spirit, I've seen people,
Mhm.
I've seen people walk away. Heard people talking about they put their spirits away. I've watched people
Yeah.
destroy their
Me too.
Santeria pots, and it's like
Me too.
nothing good will come to you. Okay, this is Jezebel. Hold
Mhm.
on. This fool is trying to get in my lap. Say hello,
Hey there,
fool.
boo.
And then stuff in the chair. That's every
Hey
time I
there,
get on
boo
camera. Jezebel's really evil, and she's a loving cat at the same time. But I'm gonna need you to go somewhere because I'm in an interview right now. Say hello. Now get out. She sits on my sewing machine too. She's a jerk. She's a real jerk.
boo.
If you want to get in this chair, I'm gonna move these boxes and you can sit next to me. But you're not gonna sit on me. This cat is something else. This cat is not my familiar. Don't everybody ever say it because she's too evil. And
We ain't gonna say
that's
nothing
another
about that. We ain't gonna say nothing about that. I know we're gonna
anything.
have some comments down below. I hope they comment because I ain't gonna say nothing because we know the real.
Right. This cat is not my familiar. I refuse to accept
You
that. I
rebuke
categorically.
her. You rebuke her. Don't be rebuking her.
Why you think her name Jezebel? I rebuke
Honey.
her.
It
All the
sound like she a
spirits of
lot
the
of fun.
world.
It sound like she a lot of fun.
That's cool. But and I have another cat named Marky Post, and she's 16. She don't want to hear about nobody or their
Nobody
problems. You'll
nothing.
never.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's my purpose, and
Okay.
there are some days when I'm up in here and I'm like, this ain't fun no more.
Yeah.
or somebody will upset me because I'm doing the best I can. I had a person this morning put a PayPal case against me because we was playing phone tag
Yeah.
because she didn't redirect.
Yeah.
And it's hard. So what
Yep.
I've learned to do is lean on divination a whole lot
Okay.
when it comes to work for people, speaking at events,
Mm-hmm.
even making new products.
Mm-hmm.
Because every
Mm-hmm.
time I add a new product, that gives me some more work to do.
Mm-hmm.
So, but at the same time, it does sometimes those things get into it, but when you get down to the nitty gritty, and that's going to be the difference between somebody who is just fooling around, dibbling and
Mm-hmm.
dabbling, and somebody whose life is
Yeah.
this. No
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
There's no option.
Yep.
There's no out.
Yep.
And I don't want one.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Mm-hmm.
everything.
Yeah, it is the most tiring. I will say it is definitely the most tiring and most how do you call it? Tiring, joyful, but the liberation, right? The soul liberation that you feel it's unparalleled.
Woo!
It is unparalleled.
Yes.
And there's and I love what you said before because I think this is going to be super important when we all come together. None of the traditions that you practice, none of the women that you will meet at Sacred Waters, that Daughters of the Moon, none of these conventions will we ever preach anything about fear, right? The liberation is
Yes.
all we are here for.
Exactly.
So if you are in a space where you're being led and called to come to these events, it's okay to be afraid because you're going to be enveloped in love. You know what I'm saying? It's a completely different thing once you
Yeah.
get in our spaces because I know a lot of people look at you online. That's where I'm coming from. Like when they watch you online, they're like, oh, "Okay, I hear whatever, whatever." But to meet you in person and to understand that not only is she a conjurer and a root worker and a voodoo priestess, like this woman is filled with love. It's the same way that you will see somebody in your grocery store and she'll pass you by. Hey, baby. You know what I'm saying? And you feel that thing?
That's what I love about being black.
Girl, you
Because
feel that
people
thing? All she did was say, hey, baby, and you feel that thing. That's what it's
you
like to be in your presence. Yeah.
you know what? They don't even have to say a word. You get in a room full of white folks, there's another black person, they go.
Yep.
They just
And you
in
got
your
a hug.
head.
You
So
literally just,
you
yeah.
you know.
Yeah. Yep.
You know.
You know.
If you're in a room
You
with a
know.
black person and they don't do that, they
Yep.
suspect. They suspect. If you
Yeah.
know, if somebody wants to do the nod, because they will speaking or saying hey is inappropriate. But if you were like in a corporate situation that is give you the nod,
Yeah.
they know what's up, and that
Yeah.
envelops you in love. And that's the thing. It's this. People have the wrong idea about voodoo.
They do.
Voodoo is about having power to hurt people.
That's what they think.
Now,
Yeah.
right? Can you do that in voodoo? Oh yes, you can.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
But the Psalms have curses.
Yep.
You know? I mean
Yep.
that made his children be without a father, his
Yep.
wife a widow.
Yep.
Come on, and
Yeah.
how many times do white folks praise Barack Obama? You know, and that's the
Yes.
thing. There is dark there, but the people that I love it. Oh God, you gotta love it. These people talking about shadow work.
Okay, so let's
God,
talk about that. I think that this is a good topic to talk about.
that
Because when
shit
I
gets on
first
my
came on, I was like, "Oh, that's when you be journaling and talking about how bad you know what I'm saying? Or you talking to your ancestors in any kind of way, or you walking down the street and you just like, damn, I shouldn't have cussed her out. Like, why the fuck did I cuss her out? You know what I'm saying? Like that. Oh, it's a word for it now. It's called shadow work. The same thing. Me and my friends talk about the safe space thing and holding space thing. Like, okay, great, that's a whole new term, but you don't have to
but
overuse curate, safe space, shadow work. You don't have to continually like, you know, come on.
trigger
Trick
safe
girl.
space.
Don't get me started on trigger child. Please.
I understand that they're
It
really
triggered me,
powerful
Shayna,
things.
and so I'm not
Most
sure
of
if I
what y'all
can.
post most of what they post on Facebook can trigger somebody.
Yeah,
There's
exactly.
stuff that post, and I'm just like, no, no. But
Yeah.
I'm not gonna let it. The fact that you can still be like really thrown for a loop with it shows you got to do some more work. And that actually is what shadow work is. And people don't get shadow work is dealing with the dark things in you. And that may not be of you.
Right.
It may have been the stuff done. But yeah, there's a lot of self-checking you have to do because you're a human being. So shadow work is about, there is no good or evil. There's dark, there's light. And people want to put this with connotations with skin color. Black people, I've seen the darkest Black African and they still ain't Black. They're still very dark brown.
Yep.
You know, so think about those color connotations with magic. I used to joke and tell people the only thing Black about my magic is me. Because we do what's necessary.
Yep.
You know, we do what's necessary. So if I gotta hurt somebody because they did something really horrible, hurt one of my people that I love, my family, my friends, or one of my clients, I will help them do that. But at the same time, people don't get it. They don't understand that this practice is about fixing you. And from fixing you, you fix others. This does not make life perfect. I don't have all the answers about why things happen in this world. But what I do know is that this world, for everybody, and I don't care what color you are, for everybody, you are training to ancestor. You are training for your next life. Every single faith does it. Okay? So people say, well, what if it happened when you die? Well, then I won't know.
Yeah.
You know,
and like we got to work on that when that time comes. That's a whole different space, and we know we don't. You know what I'm saying? It's just energy. So we will still be figuring it out. We will still be figuring it out. Why do you think that it's important for women to gather? Why do you think it's important for women to gather in spaces like Sacred Waters?
Oh man, because we don't even have to ask that question. That's why we get together with our girlfriends. And we don't have any men involved. You know, I mean, if you want to walk around topless, whatever you want to do and not be objectified, you can let it all hang out. You could be you. I've been to a lot of different women's festivals. It's like, you know how a lot of times, and I've said this, one of the reasons why I don't interracially date is because it's so very hard to explain those things. Like when somebody says, hey, baby, and you're enveloped in love. They don't get that. They don't understand that. And I don't want to spend the rest of my life explaining to them and they people and anybody else that I come in contact through my relationship with them. It's too hard. I'm too old for all that. But that's the same reason why something like Sacred Spaces. Because we don't have to explain. We could just look at each other. You could tell by the way your grandmother hummed in her kitchen whether she was in joy, whether she was in pain.
I was about to say whether you could come downstairs or not, right? Whether you could even come in the room or not.
Oh yeah, right. God, some of them days I was like, oh no, I don't know.
I'm just like, go right outside.
Trying to keep from killing somebody. You heard that I'm not going to kill someone today, huh?
Yes.
But you know, that's the thing. It's and I think a lot of us have lost touch with that. And there's nothing more that I'd rather do than spend the time with my sisters. I love men. You know, men have a specific in my life. You know, sex, heavy objects. You know, but
all of that.
Right. I always tell my and you know, you have to communicate with your spouse. So this is not advocating that you don't talk to your husband, but men tend to be, and people with masculine energies, even women with masculine energies, are linear thinkers.
Yes.
People with feminine energy are circular thinkers. So we want to talk about every aspect, every in, every out. We don't even really want to talk about the solution. We just want to talk about it. Through talking about it, often we find our solution. Men tend to get frustrated because they want to solve the problem. Linear thinkers, but the male masculine in general, both are needed. But you know, for certain things. But it's good to be with somebody when you talking in a circle, and they're looking at you and they understand. Because you look at your man, he's like,
No.
You know, some of them just shut up.
Yeah. It's
I don't want to
so
talk
not
about
gonna
this right now.
happen. Yeah. Yeah, and a
Like if
lot of
it's
the
a
men
group
have
and you
asked us to do sacred space for them. You know, when they hear about this event, they'll email us, they'll call us and say, "Hey, what you gonna do for the men?" And Sabande always says, "Boo, you gonna have to find your own way because I'm not a man and I don't know how to serve you in that capacity." She don't say it that nice because she's a Scorpio. Okay, I'm saying it in my Capricorn voice because she definitely don't say it
look,
that way.
there
But
is there is a Conjureman's Guild, which I know my friend Will is in. He started
uh
it because he came to me the same way, and I'm like, start something.
yeah,
And one of my voodoo brothers, Preston, is involved.
hmm
There is a Conjureman's Guild, and they're
okay,
working to bring people together because brothers need their own space. There
yeah,
are things specific to being a black man in this country, and while I can empathize, I cannot sympathize because I've never been there. I can
exactly.
be there for him. I can be, but you know, and I know, and sisters listen know, sometimes love ain't enough.
Yeah.
Sometimes what we have to offer with our energy is not
Mhm.
enough.
Yeah,
And
they need
unfortunately,
each
in
other.
this society, men have gotten to the point where they're scared to even touch each
Yeah.
other.
Oh,
Okay.
absolutely. Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
so, you know, you can't
Yeah.
touch each other. You can't want to kiss. You don't want to cry.
Right.
And, you know, sometimes, especially when I was younger, seeing a man cry used to really, really hurt me or
Yeah.
terrify me because I wasn't used
Yeah.
to it. They
Yeah.
need to be someplace where they
Be
themselves. And
themselves as well.
we should
Hmm.
not to do that. You
Yeah.
know, black men carry a lot of things, but that's one thing brothers is going to have to work out on their own. Well,
On
I
their own.
support them, promote them, well, I
Hmm.
encourage them. Yes, I will, but they have to be responsible for structuring their programs. And I don't care if you're a gay man, straight man,
Right.
pansexual, you're a man,
Yep.
trans man, you're
Yep. Yep.
and those things that are going to affect you as a man, especially if you are presenting yourself as a
A
man,
man. Hmm. Have to be explored on your
guilty.
own. Yep.
I beg the creator not to let me have any sons, and all of my grandchildren are girls.
I was gonna say
I don't know what's
I
wrong
begged
with
for a boy and I got a boy. But let me wrap this up because I know me and you could talk and talk and talk
we
and talk.
could all day
We
long.
could, but we are we are gonna be meeting up. It's gonna be May 25th through the 27th. So you all still have a bit of time. We do have scholarships available. You'll have to come through Sacred Waters. If you reach out to Big Liz, then she will forward it to me. But I am asking you, please don't do that. Please, please, please email sacredwatersretreats@gmail.com. Do not bug her necessarily about it.
Okay.
But
I will send the email address to people because
okay.
scholarships are important. I give
Yeah.
them out often
Yeah.
because sometimes you just can't afford it. You just
Yeah.
can't do it. Like,
Yep.
you know, our honorarium, I've forfeited that so I can bring someone with me
Right. Yeah.
because I need somebody to help me, but I also want that particular person to really experience
Hmm.
this. And man, I just love being with magical women.
Yep.
Not all of us are going to get along. Not all of
Yep.
us are going to be interested in the same thing.
Yep.
But man, you can learn so much
So
from
much.
stepping outside the box
Yes.
and coming into the circle.
Yes.
A
Thank you
box
so much
is
for saying that.
finite
Yeah.
and a circle
Is
ever.
infinite. It's so infinite. So we also have a discount which we will put on this video. It's going to be attached to the video at the bottom once we put it out on Facebook Live, you know, in a permanent way on the Sacred Waters Retreat side. Again, it's in Dover, Tennessee, but because we have a ride share, all you have to do is click on that ride share. And when you do that, you'll see little cars and it'll tell you like this is the person in your areas and stuff. So that makes it easier for you to travel by car. Of course, by airplane, if you come in that way, then we're going to have a van there ready to pick you up and take you on site. The 480 includes everything. That means all your food, all your lodging, all of our sessions, all of the rituals, which includes a sweat lodge and a pipe ceremony. Y'all, it's going to be real. It's going to be super transformational, and it is every year. So we want you all to come out, because it's important for your spirit, because it's important to your ancestors. These are the first steps that we've taken, and this is an introductory to um, the natural woman's way of living. You know, we don't know where your path is going to lead. It doesn't necessarily lead to voodoo like me and Liz, but it could lead to so many other things that the teachers are there. Yay Tish is going to be there. The author of Jambalaya is our main speaker. Like, come on, y'all. She can lead you to wherever you want to go, because she's got Native American folks, she's got Asian folks, she's got African folks, she's got African American folks, she's got Geechee Gullah folks. Like, the woman got octopus arms. Okay, so she connects all of us in this miraculous way. So we want you all to come out, check out the site, sign up. You can still just do a deposit if you'd like, and then pay the rest later. So
I wanted to ask a quick question, because people
mm-hmm.
like, it's a retreat.
Mm-hmm.
Is it lodging as far as the cabins are concerned? Are we gonna be camping out? Let folks know how
No,
the
okay,
lodging
so
is.
it's a huge dorm room, a dorm type hall, right? So it's a dorm type hall. You can bring your own linens if you want, or you can rent them once you get there, and you're gonna be in a bunk bed style, but it's not gonna be crowded. So it's not gonna be 15 women to one shower, nothing like that. They're huge halls. It's been there for a really long time. They're super well kept, very, very clean. So if you want to camp outside, and because it is by Land of the Lakes, which is a nature preserve, which is huge, it's acres and acres and acres, you can definitely bring your camping gear and camp out if you just love to do that kind of stuff. That is super duper fine. You can have it. There's water outside, all of that. You don't have electricity outside. You have electricity inside, but you would have to bring your own things for electricity if you want it outside, but you can still shower inside. You still have all the accessibility to the inside that you want. And then inside of each of the dorms, you're going to actually have an altar. So we have sister ambassadors, yeah, that are setting up special altars. Each dorm room is going to have a totem, and all of those things will be explained once you arrive. There's, of course, a bunch of good gift bags and goodies and all those kind of things that come along with it. But when you're staying there, you are creating just a little small tribe of your own within your own dorm house.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
And I'm torn, because I was to go buy a tent yesterday. I somehow, in my move from Chicago to Ohio, I
Uh-huh.
lost my 3-person. I'm a little salty about that.
Yeah, you should
And
be
I was
salty because
like,
that's dope.
I, I, I could sleep outside. And I'm like,
Yeah.
in the dorm, do I stay a tent? I'm gonna bring me a
Yeah.
tent
Just in
in
case.
case,
Yeah.
but I also want to commune. Oh,
Yeah.
I love that.
You could do
It's like
both.
care.
Yeah, you can
Yes, I got.
totally do that. And the grounds are very, very well kept. So, I mean, it's beautiful. It's super duper pristine. It's amazing. We didn't get as many outside shots as we should have last year, but if you go on the site Land of Lakes, you can click on that, just a picture of it, and it'll take you to Land of Lakes site so you can see more of what the site grounds look like. But like last year, I just kind of veered off on my own a little bit, and I saw these deer that were just like in arm's distance. The mom got super scared because they're not used to humans,
Right,
which is a good
right,
feeling versus the ones we see on the side of the highway that be like, bitch, fuck you. Like,
right.
these were like,
Going to run in the car, whether you like it or
are
not.
not.
I don't
Yeah.
care.
Yeah, they were super scared. So they were like jumping off and around and like leaping and stuff. And I was like, oh my goodness, y'all are beautiful. So beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah, this whole idea, this whole concept. I can't think of a better time to spend my holiday weekend than out there.
Wonderful.
And like I said, I love camp.
Yeah.
So that's just, this is everything. So I'm really looking forward to it. I'm not gonna
Good.
keep you. I talk all the time, and I'm gonna get back to these orders, take these kids to the movies,
All
do what I
right.
gotta do,
You have a
and be
wonderful,
mama.
wonderful Sunday.
Wonderful. And you know what? I might be able to download the whole video. I
Okay.
can. I know how.
Okay.
And I can send it to you, but you have to get it from a Dropbox link,
Yeah,
okay?
no
And then you
problem.
take it on your site,
Okay,
okay?
no problem. Thank you.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye.